Okay, and it should say that we are recording. Yeah, we are recording. So change my view here to this view. I don't like that view. Okay, that will work. So welcome the four of you. This course is 621-617, Organizing for Learning 2. The title doesn't mean a lot to me in that it is a progression in courses for people in, and you know this, for alt-cert or post-bac, heavily the people that are using this course. And it is similar to the 621-615 course that a lot of you just took, where we use the model of a very, very prominent researcher to bring new information in and to encourage you to interact with it, try to use it, and then feedback out. So if I remember right, 615, I think you're using Doug Lemov. With this one, we'll be using Marzano. As the state of Missouri put together its resources for teacher development, it drew heavily on Marzano, by Doug Lemov, Hattie, people like that. And so I try real hard to make sure that you all are conversant in those researchers. There's probably nothing magical in anything that Marzano writes about, but it is very useful and very relevant to what you all will be needing to do in the classrooms. I know some of you are teachers of record, some of you are not teachers of record, and we will get to that. When I first taught this course, 8 or 9, 10 years ago, even before I was in charge of alt-cert, the only people in the class were alt-cert people, and it has broadened and developed a little bit more than that. The last time I taught this course, it ran the entire semester. So now it is a 7-week course and runs from January 12th, which is today, to March 4th. And so most of the classes you will interact with are now set up on a 7-week schedule, not exclusively. But I wanted to get this course flowing like everybody else's. So there's some things that I tried real hard to do as I was updating this course site. I had to shrink it when it was a 16 or 17-week course. We had more physical time. I still was making a big deal of the videos, asking you to make, and we're still going to talk about them, but I'm trying to back up just a little bit from the pressures of the video, and we'll come back to that. I had to also pare down the information that we were going to work with. There's a phrase, less is more, where you really pick what is important, and that's what you try to focus upon. For example, I think there's like 10 chapters or so in this book, and so I had to pick and choose and try to look at ones that I thought where you all are in your development would be more relevant. When you all were in 621, 614, we were working with Harry Wong, very nuts and bolts-ish. And I know you're still not a long ways away from that. And 615 was very heavy with teaching strategies. Well, 617, and I don't know why the numbers are that way. It goes 14, 15, 17, 16. I have no idea why it's that way. It's been that way forever, as far as I know. The concept is we will use Marzano's language, which when you talk with your principal or colleagues, or you're in a building, You talk about Marzano, they'll nod their head. They will have heard of Marzano. They will have been to workshops and readings and that kind of stuff. So I want to make sure that we were in tune with that. Get this out of the way a little bit better. Okay. So I'm going to just talk my way through the modules and then see if you have any questions. And again, this format it's very similar to the other courses you've had with me. Pretty much an idea that we have modules roughly a week at a time, and there will be new information, ask you to do things, and then some type of deliverable. Most of the time, well, I'll pause there as I get my way down to it. So this first QM stands for Quality Matters. It's a framework that they encourage us to try to use in our course sites. Here's the scheduled and recorded seminars. This is from last 2 years, and this is where I will put the recording from this evening back into this, and I'll try to do that this evening before I get all done for the evening. My thoughts on how we will do this course, which I'm really just talking about right now. You will be encouraged to focus upon a chapter, and there are elements in the chapter, and to focus upon one element, at least one. You can do more than one, but I'm trying to keep it streamlined and focused for you. And then that is your focus for the week, where if you're a teacher of record like Shannon, I will encourage you to try that with your kids in your classroom. Yeah, see the look. You just try it, and they're nuts and bolts. They're still nuts and bolts things. If you have the gravy on it would be if, Shannon, you could record your students as you are showing them this concept, as you're practicing this concept. The gravy would be if you could make a recording and then upload it into the course site. That's essentially the assignment. I am very aware that I have no control over your principal's policies, their guidelines, that kind of stuff. So we'll completely go with the flow of that. If they let you put the camera on you as you're talking about it, that's second best. The best thing, I'll back up a little bit. As a principal, I learned that it was best because I was going in and out of classrooms all day long. But I learned to put my back to the teacher and only look at the kids, because it didn't make much difference what the teacher was saying or the teacher was doing. Those are just words. I wanted to see what the kids were saying and what the kids were doing. I would often ask kids, what are you doing today? What are your objectives? Or I would say, do you have a clue what you're supposed to be doing today? And the teacher would look horrified because I was just messing with them. But if the kid would say, yeah, we're learning to do this, then that's what I was after, because it is very important that kids know what you're trying to do and they know where they are in that process. And so I talk about it a little bit in some of these modules too. So, the perfect would be if you're allowed to just turn the laptop around with the camera going and let it shoot at your kids as you're teaching the lesson. Of course, if your local policies say that if there are any students that are not to be videoed, they can sit off to the side for that 10 minutes. So their face is not seen or their voice is not heard. Okay, that's the best case scenario. It's a very strong teaching tool. I've already had an email from somebody that says their building says no videos at all. Okay, we'll deal with it. So I will and I'm talking now to everybody that watches this recording. We will work our way through this. Okay, one thing about this program is everybody's at slightly different places, in different schools, different policies, and I understand that. So the first thing is a video just to reintroduce yourself, and not brain surgery, just bring us up to date. Plus, it's good for me and for everybody to see your face, and it helps with a little bit with us creating our learning community. It used to be I would go to everybody's classroom, and Shannon, several years ago, I used to go into Liberty Middle School a lot because there were there's at least one, I don't know if she's still there or not, that I would go watch her teach. And I do the same at Liberty High, and I do the same several schools, St. Joe and Raytown, and I was all over the place. I'm just not on the road. We just don't travel like that, like we used to. Plus COVID came along. And then the overview of the elements outlined in the handbook. How I did the handbook, I bought, I think you can rent an online version through, I got mine through Amazon/Kindle. So I just call it up on my laptop and I just read it up on my screen. And then people can get a physical book if they want. Buying it online like that, it takes, 30 seconds to get it, have it on your laptop. That's the easiest way. Now, it's not my preferred way to read, but it works. And I know, I don't remember if I had the option of just renting like a 60-day rent or something like that. I've done that with other books before. And if you have that option, that saves you a lot of money. So I'm encouraging everybody that watches this that I tried to communicate this out with my intro email earlier. There's been a couple people, there have been a couple people that have joined the class since then that may have missed this. I encourage you to get access to the text ASAP. But you'll see I've also cut and pasted the elements in here also. So the code is already there. Very good. Okay, overachiever, good job. Okay, so moving our way down, the module 2, I picked chapter 1. And then basically what I'm asking you to do is to pick one of the elements to be your focus and have directions there. If you're a teacher of record, what to do. If you're not a teacher of record, what will you do? And that's what I'm after. And then something else I'm trying, try and do a better job. And if they all work properly, I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing a better job of articulating how things will be scored and the rubric that we will be using. And how I did that, I took the languages from up above, and then I reworded it down using the same language as much as possible, and I assigned points. And then in the way up here in the upper right, you can also show the rubric right there. Okay, and that's how I will grade. I will be able to, as I'm grading, I can go in and assign points. I wanted to make sure that I had not done a good enough job of this last year when I taught the course. And so I realized, Marzano talks about scoring guides and learning scales, that kind of stuff. And I thought, well, I need to make sure I have them in there too. Are they perfect? No. But they are, you should know what the expectations are for getting the points. That's what I was after there. Then the piece about the video, asking you to create a 5 to 10 minute video if you can. But then again, I have the directions there if you're not a teacher of record. Okay. So then the idea was that that's the flow of the course. And I have not opened up all the assignments on down here because I wanted to get about a week, I will, but I want to get the course flowing before I do, because once people start uploading into the assignments, it locks down any changes that I can make. And so I want to make sure I had things working properly before I open everything up. So you can see like module 3, the dates are 124 and 130. I have the green means I have not published those assignments yet, and that's by design. And so I'll do that again in a couple of weeks. So it just flows rather mechanically, and I'm aware of that, and I'm fine with that. So I need to touch up some of my introduction language a little bit too, that kind of stuff. And then going down here, the last module is where I'm going to ask you to do a final reflection That's what there is. But also, and the final reflection, you can't do that wrong. But then the MEES is the Missouri Educator Evaluation System, which is an assessment, but it's really communication between your principal or cooperating teacher if you're in a student teaching semester. Those of you that are post-bac will have a version of a cooperating teacher, and where that person and I or another Northwest person will collaborate on your proficiency on these 9 teaching standards. Okay, and these teaching standards are probably, well, they should be the same ones that your supervisor, your principal talks about when he or she are walking into your classroom. Standard 1 is just talking about content knowledge and how content knowledge you talk about is aligned with appropriate instruction. And then I cut and pasted the look-fors that you're able to articulate the necessary knowledge and effectively demonstrate in performance. That's the look-for, and they're right there. So really, I'll open up the assignment. You'll be able to see it, and then you will reflect on where you are on each of those teaching standards. And I'll show you at this stage in the game for you all, heavily the ones that are dealing with positive classroom environment. Okay, we'll come back to that a lot. Student behaviors. Another one that I spend a lot of time talking about is student engagement. I tend to believe that if students are engaged in what you're doing and the information, then one, they're learning more, they have more positive feelings about the class, they're probably misbehaving less, and taking it to a next step beyond that. I am learning more about affective student engagement, where the students they're engaged, but they are enjoying what you're having them do. Okay, which is a big thing. It's easy to get kids to do the math problems that you're giving them. They'll comply. That's compliance, and they'll do it, and that's good. But if you can make the environment where they are having fun while they're doing it, that's night and day better. Because we know that when kids are enjoying themselves, the atmosphere is good. It's fun to teach. It's a light atmosphere. They misbehave less, and it's just fun. Teaching is fun when the kids are enjoying themselves. When they're not, that means they're misbehaving, and it makes for a long day. So I've been yakking for 20 some odd minutes, and let's go back to modules there. Okay, so it's a pretty straightforward course. It really is. It is a very practicum heavy course where I am giving you concepts to practice, giving you things to try. None of them are none of them are out there. They're still pretty nuts and bolts, because knowledge application lessons. So again, it comes back to student engagement, where the kids are applying what they're asking them to do. Direct instruction. We all have to know how to do effective direct instruction. Strategies that appear in all types of lessons. That's a good one too. Here we are, chapter 7, using engagement strategies. Again, that's one of my favorites. And I'll probably weave in some Spencer Kagan activities in there also. In fact, I may put a spin in there to expect you to use some Spencer Kagan student engagement strategies in there also. And then communicating high expectations, that's all good also. So I will pause there and ask any of the folks that are zooming in, who are the guinea pigs for this evening, do you have any specific questions for yourself or for the entire class? And if you have something that is specific just to you, then we can wait till I'm not recording to bring it up. So do you have any questions, anybody? not a loaded question. That's called wait time. Okay, your computer did not freeze. I was giving you about 10 seconds of wait time, which is hard for a teacher to do. This is where I will stop share. Okay, and if there are no questions, I'm looking forward to working with everybody this semester. Communicate to me if you have questions about any assignments, or about creating videos, any of that kind of stuff. And then I know that, heaven forbid, we go back to online. Those of you that are not teachers of record, you can create videos of yourself doing your best to teach the concept as if your students are back on quarantine, something like that. That works also. That's about third best, but I'll take what I can get. Shannon, do you have a question for the whole group or just for yourself?
It could be for the whole group.
Okay, go ahead.
So for our 2 posts, and I don't know, maybe you said this, but do we post the video first or do we post the other discussion first?
I don't think I specified in there. So if I don't specify, I can't expect it. In a perfect world, you will put your video in there and then post on 2 different days to your classmates.
Okay.
But I did back off a little bit. I'm not calling it 3 posts. I was saying 3 posts on 3 different days. Now I'm really just talking to 2 different days, which is much more mechanically contrived than I usually teach, but it's good to make sure that the threads are spread out over the week. So yeah, you could post to a classmate on Tuesday and put your video up on Wednesday, and your second post could also be Wednesday, because the 2-day thing is only for your communications to your classmates. Okay, I tried to streamline that just a little bit. So you have latitude there, Shannon, when you want to do that. And did I answer your question?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I guess I meant maybe I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be.
Okay.
But so for chapter 1, it has the rubric and everything, and it talks about the initial posts containing the required, like, references to the required reading.
Yes.
All that jazz. And then but on the video post, like, oh my gosh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Does it matter which one of those we do first? Because it seems like they coincide with each other. I don't know.
It does not matter to me.
Okay.
And if it's unclear, if you have a question, I probably need to look at my directions. I try real hard not to grade like a Martinet. You know what I mean? So, and you have to, maybe I should not call the video a post. It's an upload. Okay, your initial upload contains, and then the comment to the posting classmates is good collaboration. So do I need to go back and look at my directions a little bit?
Maybe, I don't know. It's
okay.
It's okay.
So I'll tell you what, just try the first module. Well, try the first assignment and see if it makes sense. And if mechanically it's awkward when you get in there and you're doing it, let me know, and I will work on my communications again.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Anybody else? Okay, I will stop recording.